welcome back to the Westslife Podcast for 2022. We are back for another season. Number 4 now. It's good to be back, and we've got lots of plans to be even bigger and better this year. And as always, give us a follow on the socials at Westslife Pod on Insta and Twitter. If you want to support and take part in the show, at patreon.com/Westslife. And also, we've gone into the 21st century. We have YouTube now. So all episodes will be uploaded on YouTube. And we might even start doing some video episodes once the season kicks off. And one man who looks bloody good on camera, who's alongside me tonight, well, over the phone tonight, is Rob Bechara. Welcome to another year of hell. Well, hopefully not. A little bit more heaven this year, Rob.
G'day, Josh. Yeah, thanks for having me on, mate. I don't know about looking good on camera. I think I look better over the phone, but we'll let the viewers judge that later on in the year.
The end of season survey last year, so many people were asking for us to be on video, so they, it's be careful what you ask for, I guess. So, so as well as video, we're going to go to 2 episodes a week this year. So we will record Monday and Thursday nights, except for we only play Thursday night once this year, so we'll obviously record Wednesday night. So that just allows us to do a review session quickly after the game, and then later in the week when all the news and the team list and it's closer to game day, we can do a preview pod. So you're getting us double this year, and so there will be video. The plans for video is to come along with that ASAP. So that also means, Rob, we'll try and keep the episodes around the hour mark. We'll try and limit ourselves to an hour. We went a bit Joe Rogan in some of our episodes over the last couple of years. I mean, that's in terms of episode lengths, not being cancelled by social justice warriors, but so a bit more structure. After 3 years of ad-lib footy, we're getting serious and a bit of structure about the show. So it should be good. What do you reckon, Rob?
Yeah, I think, well, as long as we don't have too many hot topics to discuss, I think some of the episodes last year dragged on quite a bit because it was all about, the club and how they're running things, and Madge, and is he staying, is he going, and, what can we do to fix our player signings. So we've had a lot to talk about. We've had some in-depth talks with a lot of people, and the vent pods have been great, getting all the listeners on the show and having their say. So I think this year, if we could, obviously if something dramatic happens, that might change for an episode or two. But I think the review works well, and preview works well, and it keeps it a lot simpler.
Yeah, and be more consistent. When the episodes come out, we were doing Tuesday night pretty consistently last year, but we're going to split it up. So so keep an eye on your Apple, what are we on? Apple, Google, Spotify, and now YouTube as well. So give us a sub on any of those, and good reviews too. Apparently they help find more listeners. We're going to look for, if you know anyone that would like to sponsor the show, we're going to try and get into that space. Don't worry, we're not going to make it like a TV show where a third of the show will be ads. It'll be only some here and there, but we have an email address set up. If you're interested, podcast@westlife.com, or just send us a DM on the socials if you want to reach thousands of West Tigers fans that join us for therapy twice a week. So, and Patreon members, you will get the episodes uploaded on Patreon ad-free. Is a bit of extra incentive there. So, we'll 2 episodes this week, so later in the week, the Patreon guys, we sent them a survey. We're going to do a prediction pod, and hopefully we'll get someone to join us for that one. Rob, Shane will be back on and off this year. He's pretty busy with the MG Pumps Solutions. They're flat out like a lizard drinking over there, so we'll try and get Shane on to as much as he can. Hopefully he watches the game, doesn't go shopping as he tends to do. But so tonight's episode, a lot of news, Rob, that a lot's happened since we were last on the air in October. And I guess we'll start with the saddest news that only happened recently. Olsen Filipana, Balmain Tigers legend, passed away just last week. Played a few seasons for the Balmain Tigers, and obviously the New Zealand side. Rob, I messaged you straight away, obviously, to ask you if you remember him playing, and you told me that your relationship with him goes beyond a fan.
Yeah, sadly, I found out on Twitter just following a mate. I was in shock. I knew he'd had some kidney problems and he was in hospital, but I didn't realise how dire it was. So yeah, I was just a footy fan who loved watching Olsen play, and luckily enough, in the mid '80s, I got introduced to him through a mate of mine, and we played doubles together for about 3 years in a tennis comp at Ryde Eastwood, and we became good mates. And we'd hang out and eat and have a drink, and he was an absolute gentleman, like loveliest man, and not only a gentleman but a gentle man. He's just a gentle human being, and yeah, he luckily I bumped into him about a year and a half ago, and we caught up and reminisced a little bit, and yeah, he was just a great man, and yeah, just gutted to hear the news, and my condolences go out to his family and his other friends, but yeah, just really sad,
Yeah,
just not good news.
he with all respect, like because he didn't play a lot of his career. He played a lot of his career back in New Zealand, and he only had like a limited time in Australia, I believe. This is obviously he played well before I was around, but for a guy who he seems like he made a real impact as a person. He seemed like a real, as you said, so many tributes to just a guy, a really good human being. So, yeah, it's just really, really sad. And yeah, obviously Jimmy Jack, he's put up a few tributes on his socials and all the ex-Balmain guys. But just NRL wide, just talking highly about the great guy. So rest in peace, Olsen Filipana. So in much happier news, Rob, we were waiting. I think every single West Tigers fan across the summer, there was one thing that we wanted to happen, and that was to extend the contract of Stefano Utoi Kamanu. And he has. He signed on for 2 more years, so that means he was already signed for this year, next year, and now we've got 2024, 2025. Rob, is the club pinch me? We're re-signing talent. The club, the office, the front office is starting to do the right things. Are you happy?
Well,
How
it's
happy are you about this
fantastic
signing?
news. Oh, look, I think we're all ecstatic about it. We know his potential. We haven't had much faith in the front office, but I don't know if it's front office or if it's Tim Sheens, because we've had some good signings. As we all know, we've signed Papali'i and Coruscant for 2023, and a lot of clubs would have been after Big Stefano. So, yeah, it's massive news, and I think it puts a big tick in terms of like where he thinks our future is, and he wants to be a part of it, and it just warms the heart. So no, I'm ecstatic. It's
Yeah,
great news.
yeah. He's a superstar. He's on the verge of playing Origin. He's just going to be an absolute gun of a player. One of the few shining lights of last season. Um, yeah, there's no particular order of this. Just a quick hitter. Reese Hoffman has been released to go to the Bulldogs. That was quite a while now, but any how what level of disappointment is there, Rob, with that?
You just can't keep everyone, and you've
Yeah,
just got to trust the club that they've got to pick and choose who they think we should have and who we shouldn't have, and there's only players, and maybe they've identified that he's not for us, or perhaps Canterbury have offered him more money than we were prepared to. But we've definitely got a bit of a shortage in the outside back. So if he had talent, or I'm not saying he doesn't have talent, but if he was as talented as he's been touted to be, you'd think he would have stayed. I haven't seen much of him, but I saw enough of him to think he could make a fist of it. But who knows, mate? You don't know what he's like off the field or whatever. So we've just got to trust Tim and the crew, and hope they've made the right call on this one.
and the thing is, you can't just keep having a squad full of rookies. Like we need a bit of an experience. So it's one thing to have young prospects, but you kind of want some guys. And I think Gildart is an example of that in terms of Super League, a bit more experience, rather than all these raw kids coming through that, thrown in the deep end. in first grade.
Exactly.
But who knows? In hindsight, yeah, you can't make those calls. The elite clubs make those calls. They let guys go here and there. So as you said, you can't keep them all. It was a while ago now. Tukey Simpkins was a bit naughty and driving unlicensed, crashed his car. Apparently, he was carrying a few flag players. Um, not too far from where we live too. I believe it was in Auburn, Rob. But
Yeah.
look, it's he could have killed someone. The thing is, he didn't kill anyone, and he should be very, very thankful. His entire life could have been thrown upside down if something worse had come from it, and someone was seriously injured. He's obviously going to have to get a lift to training. So, yeah, there's not too much I want to say. I think he'll get the punishment he deserves on that one.
Yeah, what was he thinking? Seriously, like we can laugh now because no one's
Yeah,
hurt, but it's just really stupid, isn't it? But unfortunately, we're used to seeing this with some of these young NRL players. So
yeah,
let's just hope he learns from it and doesn't do something so stupid ever again.
yeah. Yeah, we'll move on from that. It's we still love the bloke, and hopefully he's young and he'll learn. So, Stafford Toa are signing from the Knights. So, Rob, do you know much about this young kid?
Oh, I've watched him play a bit. I mean, look, it adds to our depth in the back line. I'm sure he's going to get a run at some stage. So I think it's a decent backup signing. He's not a superstar, but from what's out there, I mean, I wouldn't call it a bad buy. So he can fill a role. So yeah, I'm happy with the signing.
Yeah, and more depth in the outside backs. It's something that we've been lacking a little bit, and um, yeah, just a bit of obviously with Tommy Talau is going to be a little while away. So um, yeah, it's not something that made us get super excited for, but who knows? He might be a gem that we pick up.
He's played enough first grade, Josh. So I
Yeah,
think I think I think it's a decent pickup. I mean, it's better than picking up someone that's totally untried. We
yep,
we know what he's capable of. He can score a try. So like it's not the worst signing in the world. And especially we've had a couple of blokes go down that can potentially play out there. So as with Kapoa in the centres, and obviously Adam can play out there if he's not put at 5'8". So we're missing a few players in that
yep,
sense. So yeah, any backline depth is a bonus.
yeah. I think this year, like I know it's been 11 years, and I've said this last year, but I think a lot of this year is going to be a lot of trial and error. Um, it's I tweeted this out the other day in terms of team selection. Who do you think has their spot nailed? Dane Laurie at fullback. The halves for now, while Adam's out, will definitely be Brooks and
Hastings.
Hastings. So, but all the other positions. Oh, Stefano, obviously one of the props, but who else is a lock for their position?
Well, not a lock, but you'd assume that Noffa and
Oh, not for the wingers. Sorry, I did say
not,
yeah.
I think both
Noffa and
both
Kennedy. Yeah, yeah.
wingers I think
The
both
back
wingers
three, the
would
back three is
start.
a
Yeah,
lock. Yeah, but
yeah,
apart from
that's
that,
right. But
your centers, your back like it's
well, certainly hookers up for grabs. I
yeah,
mean, you'd expect Twal. I'd like to think Twal would play prop, but for some stupid reason he keeps getting put at lock. But
yeah,
if Twal plays 7 or 8 games in a row without missing a tackle all the time, he's going to get in the first grade team as well. So,
yeah,
but not many other spots are up. And that can be a good thing too. I think the boys have got a lot to play for. For me as a supporter, I think we're free rolling this year. I think everything's looking towards 2023.
yeah,
But in someone's case like Madge, and to a degree Pasco, and like all these guys in the front office. I mean, they've got pressure on them. They can't. We can't start the year 1-5, 0-6. But potentially it could happen. So, like I say, we can all have opinions, but the boys have got a clean slate, and it's just up to them. It's just to see what they can do. Anything can happen.
yeah. Um, Another young talent, Fanua Pole has extended one of our juniors, so they're giving him a few years, and I believe he's still SG board. Do you know much about this kid, Rob?
No, unfortunately, this is one I don't know
Mm.
too much about. But I mean, if we've signed him up, like I said earlier, we've got to trust that the guys, see a big future in him, and we can certainly do with someone with that sort of potential.
One thing we will try and do better this year is take a lot more notice of the lower grades. But if there is someone out there that is really in tune with our junior clubs, get in touch with us and let us know, because we want to know about the young talent coming through both West and Balmain sides. So, so if you have any on eye for talent and you attend their games or watch their games regularly, we'd love to hear from some experts on that. But we'll get to the scores, because SG Ball and Harold Matts have already started. We'll do their scores in just a second. But sad news, my guy Sean Bloor, the poor guy, he's done an ACL, the opposite knee that he injured previously, so he's going to miss the entire season. Like he looks super fit, ready to go. I think we're all pretty keen to see him lock down a starting spot this year. But Robert, can you get any? I mean, the guy, you got to feel for him. I put up a story on Instagram, a photo I took with him last year while he was out injured, and he replied pretty quickly and said, "Don't worry about me." There's a few swear words in it, but he said, "Don't worry about me. I'll be back. I can still play." So he seems pretty motivated to get back, which is good. But man,
we needed him, Josh. This is a huge out for the year.
Yeah.
So hopefully someone can step up in his place. But I really rate the kid highly. I just think his potential's untapped, and even to a degree, like how we used him late in the year last year, like we hardly use his offloading skills or anything like that. He was just playing a pretty solid role. So I just think he's a massive out. And obviously, I'd assume Kelmer Tuilagi will probably take his place or get that first crack at the starting spot, either him or Garner. So it just depends which way Madge wants to go there. But, perhaps now that Tuilagi signed with Manly for next year, Garner gets first crack. I don't know what they're thinking, but yeah, Sean Bloor's a massive out. He's one of my favourites.
Yep. He's probably my favourite. We had him on the show previously, and he was great fun and such a great kid. You don't wish this on your least favourite NRL player, but let alone Sean. So hopefully rehab happens, and there's been plenty of players that have had this kind of start to their career and they thrive after it. So fingers crossed. He comes back 2023 and the premiership ring on his finger. I said this to him on Instagram messages, mate. That premiership ring will feel even better next year. So all the best with your recovery, Sean. So the clubs come out and said, so late last year, a lot of people, were saying they're going to pull their membership. There was a big thing about people not going to renew their members. Apparently, we're at 18,000 members already, which is ahead of where we've been at this time of year previously. So we're probably going to crack that 20,000 again. Rob, how many members do you think we'd have if this team started winning games? I know you look at Parramatta, it went from, they were similar numbers to us, and then all of a sudden 30,000 plus. I mean, how many West Tigers fans are out there that, would put their money, knowing that the club is, as well as on-field success, the off-field stuff that we've talked about, plenty in the past, but man, our membership numbers should be way higher. As startling as it is that 20,000 people are going to... I mean, I've renewed my whole family as well. I'd renew year after year, but I know you and Shane were questioning it and that sort of thing. But, how do you feel the club will go if we start winning games? How many members do you reckon we'd have?
Oh, look, you'll get more people. I mean, look, it's going back a long time, but we kind of missed our window in 2005. Like, you win a premiership, and if you've got things going right, you should just take advantage of that and just go boom from there. And we really didn't do that because we were so divided back then. So,
look, memberships weren't big back then either. Memberships, the NRL really, it was like around 2010-ish that memberships started to become a bit more like AFL and a bit more promoted. I was a
Yeah.
member like for the to West Tigers back in 2000. You'd hardly hear about it. So,
Yeah,
um,
for me, look, obviously, like we want on-field success, especially after being starved for at least 10 years. But like I said, if things are going well within the club and we're starting to plant the right seeds in the right places, and you have faith in the direction of the club, then I can tolerate a little bit of like bad stuff on the field, and like I kind of expect a little bit of that this year. Like I'm not expecting more wins and losses or anything like that, but I'm just happy with the fact that we're saying that we might go back to two home grounds in a couple of years, that we're looking to get into the Macarthur area, that we're starting to make good signings, that we're starting to hold on to the talent that we know is there. Like everyone wants Stefano, we're going to keep him. Hopefully that'll happen with Dane Laurie as well down the track, and guys hopefully that perform this year that will want to be snapped up by other clubs, and we can hold on to those. So like there's so many positive signs there, and I think you just want to get behind a club that knows what they're doing, and we haven't had that sort of direction in the past, and it just seems from the outside that Tim Sheens has a lot to do with that, and I just wish he'd have taken up that role when we sacked him at the end of 2012 instead of buggering off to the UK, because you just start to think, imagine where we'd be if he hadn't sooked and run off, because he never got a head coaching gig anywhere else anyway, so he may as well have stuck it out. But yeah, I just think we would have heaps more members, but like I said, you still got to worry about who's up top, who's running things, and what's going on. And let's just see how. I'm really curious to see how we react if we have any adversity the first couple of months on the field,
yeah,
because every time we seem to have adversity, the media gets on our back, and
yeah, it just
Pasco goes into
spirals.
hiding, and yeah, spiral. And then Lee starts saying stuff that we all regret, and
Yeah,
it just gets into that mode. So let's hope like the results are better than that, but we'll just see what comes of it. But yeah, I think we can definitely crack 20,000 members, and
I
they
think
haven't got me
30. I
they
think
haven't got
30.
me signed up.
I reckon
They haven't got.
if we have a run like we did in 2011 and 10, I reckon we crack 30,000 members. Were you at the 2005 grand final? You were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
certainly
yeah.
was.
There's
Gosh.
there was at least 80,000 West Tigers fans there. They're out there. There's at least I reckon there'd be 100,000 West Tigers fans in in the country. So I mean, we're only tapping I reckon 20% of the fans out there. Like all my family are fans, but not members. So or a lot of my family, but yeah, they just got to start yeah making giving the people a product they want to put their money to. So
Exactly.
the home ground thing I was going to talk about later, but it probably makes more sense to move straight to it because you mentioned it just then. An article came out that basically the club wants to go back to the suburban grounds full time. The contract with not Bank West, Combank Stadium is known now.
It was Bankwest, yeah.
Yeah, Combank Stadium ends next year. So from 2024, they're thinking maybe doing 8 at Campbelltown and 4 at Leichhardt. Someone tweeted us the other day saying they must listen to this show because that's exactly what we said on this show. What
Yeah, Ben
six
Ellis.
6 months? It was Ben. Yeah, shouts to
Yeah.
Ben. Um, yeah, for thinking of us because yeah, we were preaching this. Um, it's got to be at least a year we've been preaching this for. So, and we're the three of us, you, myself, and Shane. We're all ex-Balmain fans, and even we know, and we none of us live anywhere near Campbelltown, so it doesn't advantage us personally. We just know that the club, the future is Campbelltown. It's such a massive chunk, and the fact that there's a soccer team there, then um, the MacArthur Bulls are there. It's such an opportunity to have a relationship because they play in summer. Like, if we can get the Campbelltown Stadium upgraded for both clubs and good facilities out there, like they're talking, and really adopt the West. Yeah, how many families are out there? Get every kid in Oran Park and all those suburbs that are chock full of families. Get every kid a Tigers footy, and who knows? 10 years down the track, we might have 50,000 members. So, um, how do you feel about it, Rob?
Yeah, well, we discussed it last year numerous times, and I think we bandied around 8-4, 9-3. But for myself, I actually said every game should be there. But like I said, I'd be happy to compromise with a 9-3 or an 8-4 because we can't, we've just got to move on as one group. We can't pander to both Balmain and Magpies fans and everyone. Like I said, like Leichhardt Oval for me is like my church. It's my favourite place to go to watch footy. But I know, there's a bigger region in the MacArthur area. And if you just try and be objective about it, if there's a kid in that area, they want to go and see, their heroes every second week. Like if you generally get a home game every second week, they should be going to Campbelltown or Liverpool or somewhere out there, wherever our home ground's going to be, and have a chance to see that hero and their team and say, I want to play for them one day. And I just, like I say, the objective part of me says, why is that kid from MacArthur going to go to Leichhardt Oval? How's he going to get there? Is he going to get there? He's not even within a quick walk and a bus, from the ground. So look, if it's a compromise of 8-4, I guess that'll keep most happy, but we've got to start making decisions for the long-term future of the club. And like I say, as a Balmain fan, Balmain made a decision to merge for the long-term future of the club. Okay, These sort of decisions have to be made for the long-term future of the club. So, yeah, I'm all for it. And, I just hope these days of, taking games to what was Bankwest Stadium, Combank Stadium, to play Parramatta for your home game and give them the advantage. And then they wipe your ass by 50 points and rub it in your face. And Pascoe goes, oh, well, we needed the money. Like, that just kills me. So, we want to win games. We want to have a fortress. We should be playing as many games at Leichhardt and Campbelltown as we can, just to have an advantage. Like, who'd want to go to Campbelltown as an opposing team in the middle of winter? Like, in non-COVID times, let New Zealand catch the plane to Mascot and catch the bus out to Campbelltown in the middle of winter and play at 7:30 at night in the freezing cold. Like, let's just make it hard for opposition teams to win games.
Well, there'll be an airport. So I'm
all for it.
There'll be an airport eventually, not too far.
Yeah, eventually,
but that's also a good thing too for logistically. But I get what you're saying. I mean, it's so freaking cold in the middle of winter.
Well, we put Parramatta on a platter, mate. We were giving our home game to Parramatta at Parramatta, and they kick our ass and say thank you very much. Like, what a load of crap.
Yeah,
that just annoyed me. That sort of thing, But I mean, obviously they're trying to survive, and they'll say we're doing all the right things financially, but that's not how you run a footy club. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you got to hold on to Leichhardt for a couple of games a year. Those special days at Leichhardt Oval, I'm 100% for moving forward and that sort of thing. But at the same time, the one home ground thing is just not going to happen, in my opinion. We're a merged club, and we just got to live with that we're a merged club. And, like, there's still that nostalgia. It's a lot of people, like, bag us out for the whole multiple home ground things. But, man, the Leichhardt Oval on a Sunday afternoon is one of the most envied things by other clubs' fans. Like, it's just...
you're preaching to the converted there. Yeah. I get all that. I get all that. But and don't forget, we take a game to Tamworth as well.
Yeah.
There's another home game we take there.
And Magic Round.
Yeah, and Magic Round.
Magic Round should be a neutral... I don't know why they don't just make it... It counts as no one's home ground. But anyway...
But how is it better for us to give Parramatta a home game at what was Bankwest Stadium to have 20 to 25,000 people there when we could have that same Easter game at Olympic Park and have over 40 to 50,000 there and have half the gate each? Like, I explain to me the logic there. Like, where was the monetary benefit to go to Parramatta?
It's just insane.
And it was actually a really good game, like coming from the Easter show, and that was a great atmosphere, massive crowd. We they'd win some games, we'd win some games. It wasn't always one-sided. I just never got it.
Even
I really never got that.
The game was fairly close. Like, we talked about it when it happened. It wasn't Parramatta were heavy favourites, but we were a couple of bounces of the ball from possibly taking that one. So ANZ Stadium should be for Easter, and Campbelltown. I think if they got 8 games a year, you get with memberships as well. You can have it should be a family 8-game pass should be like a couple $100. So for
Yeah,
general admission.
just so it's noted, like I love Leichhardt, but I actually love going to Campbelltown as well.
Yeah,
I,
so
I
do
love
I.
I love both grounds, and both
Leagues
crowds are
Club next
great.
door. The Leagues
Like
Club's a
like the
great feed.
yeah, the club, the fans get right behind the team at both grounds,
Yeah.
so it's no difference to me.
Well,
It's just whatever's better for our future.
they do when we're playing well. Like when we're playing well, you just can't beat those suburban grounds. And when they're a packed house, but
Yeah,
I mean, in previous seasons, in the middle of winter, you talk about how cold it is, and when we weren't winning, like I've sat there when we've only had 3 or 4 thousand people, and it's a very dreary and it doesn't really pump the players up. So yeah, at the same time, people got to vote with their feet. But I mean, it
yeah,
takes time um, as well. I guess yeah, make people that have moved to that area know that this is our team. Like, come support us. So um, yeah, well, I definitely want Campbelltown to get 8 games a year. Yeah, that's the right number, I think. To I mean, that's the same. The NFL, they get. It's crazy. There's so much money in the NFL that, but yet they only play 8 home games a year. Like it's crazy. So, but it makes it special. So who knows?
yeah.
But
It certainly does.
yeah. Um, righto. So lower grade scores from the last couple of weeks. So the SG Ball and Harold Matts started last week. So round one, Balmain played against West. So Balmain in the SG Ball, Balmain beat West 26-22, and then just the weekend gone, Balmain 22-12 over the Bears, and West lost to Newcastle 34-26 in the Harold Matts. West got the game round one win over Balmain 24-14. Balmain bounced back the next week. They won 12-6 over the Bears, and then West smacked up the Knights 38-20. So by the looks of it, the West side and the Harold Matts goes goes all right. So Tarsha Gales also had a couple of games. So the girls, they're undefeated. They beat the Panthers 24-16 the first week, and they beat the Knights 16-14. So yeah, so West have beaten 2 out of 3 against the Knights. So yeah, so we'll try to cover the lower grades more, and obviously we'll have the cup. Yeah, I believe the cup's. Where is the cup being played? I'll try to work out where the cup's being played this weekend, but it's a double header. We've obviously got a first grade game before us, so the cup. I couldn't find anywhere where the New South Wales Cup are playing their trials, but I guess a lot of the New South Wales Cup players will be playing, switching in for our first grade side. Anyway, so the boys, the club spent the last week up in my hometown of Terrigal. I don't know if you saw the photos, Rob. I was pretty
Yeah, certainly
jealous
did.
seeing Adam Dwayhe shirtless, laying on the beach. My old digs. Yeah, the boys had a good old time in Terrigal. They were training at Tuggerah, the new grounds up near the Bunnings up there, and yeah, it looks like it was a good time. One thing that did make me a little bit sad was looking at all the Instagram stories of the players, and then like poor Sean Bloor was in hospital. Like, just you got to feel for guys going through rehab, um, just missing out, because the best thing about playing footy is that mateship, and they're having team barbecue, and like it's a whole bonding thing. That's the whole idea behind this trip. And poor Sean Bloor, like you look at his, and he's bloody in a hospital bed. It just sucks. I feel so sorry for that side of it as well. They're human. At the end of the day, we think them like they're footballers, but at the end of the day, they're young boys. Yeah, with emotions and stuff. So that made me a little bit sad. I wish Sean could have seen the greatest place on planet, God's country, up on the Central Coast. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It looks like Madge. Do you think it's a sign, Rob, that Madge is easing up a little bit? He's starting to maybe try and because he's got that hard ass
Yeah.
reputation. Do you think maybe he's just easing up a little bit and thinking, you know what, maybe I don't want to burn out this squad?
Well, I think there was a report last week. I stand corrected if it was Noffa or not, but one of the boys apparently he gave him half the day off or something because it was too hot or something like that at training, and I just found that a bit bit unusual for Madge. But obviously, like he's realised he's taken on board the criticism that might have been thrown at him last year because obviously he just held on to his job. So I guess he's had to compromise a little bit, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, he's even though he's won premierships and what have you, he's got to evolve as a coach and a person and still learn. And he doesn't know it all, and none of us know it all. So if he's adapting and he's sort of getting the players' trust, or the players are seeing that he doesn't just talk the talk, but he's actually showing it with his actions, then I guess that's a good thing. So,
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of pressure on Madge because, like I said, the first few weeks they're going to expect results, and I just hope he gets to see the whole year out personally. But no, I think it's a good vote for Madge. So fingers crossed.
Another thing too, you're talking about calling the session in the heat. I never understood. You see the footage of players, NRL players, like thrashing themselves in 40-degree heat, but the majority of the season they're playing in 14-degree cold at night. I'd love to speak to a sports scientist because surely it makes more sense that you got to train your body to adapt to conditions that you're used to playing in. Like, is it really beneficial for them to be super dehydrated and like doing hill like sprints in the sand when they're going to be playing in freezing cold conditions? I don't know. I'm not. I've got a cert for in fitness, but I'm not a sports scientist or anything. So I never got it.
I don't think it's beneficial, Josh, because I remember, like, when I was a kid and probably before you were born, they were scared to play, even pre-season games and trial games in certain degree heat. So I don't get how they train so hard in this heat. But, I'm sure, every club has, medical experts and professionals, and they know what they can do and what they can't do. But it would make no sense to me to flog them in that sort of heat. It's not conducive. I actually don't get how they can pretty much play and train for so many months, like they're back in training basically within a month after the grand final. So there's really no off season anymore like it used to be once upon a time.
Yeah, this recovery is so important. Like if you don't recover properly, then
mentally and physically.
It can lead to injuries. It can lead to mental burnout. So I think there's a big swing across the board. They're probably starting to work out that maybe flogging them in 40-degree heat isn't beneficial. But I'm not the expert there. Love to speak to Ronnie Palmer, see what he reckons about that. He bloody trained in 40-degree heat, probably still runs up sand dunes. Super fit.
Yeah, tough bugger, Ronnie. Yeah. Very tough.
Righto, that's just about does it for tonight, Rob. It's good to catch up. As I said earlier in the show, we will do 2 episodes. So later in the week, we will drop. We've got some of our Patreon subscribers to fill out a survey of predictions for this year. So we'll speak to you guys on Thursday. Thanks for joining.
Are you heading out Friday night, mate?
Am I heading to the game? I am. I've got to buy my tickets still.
Okay.
Yeah, still trying to try and find someone to sit with. So.
Well, I think most of our boys will be getting a few minutes, mate, except for Jackson Hastings, who's carrying a bit of a leg injury. So you'll get to see Oliver Gildart and get to report to us next week on what he looked like live.
Yep.
And Tyrone Peachy will get a run, and I think the Turbos are playing for Manly and DCE, so there'll be a few stars playing Friday night, so that should be a good watch.
We can get excited over a meaningless game. Or
is it televised as well? I think it is televised.
Every trial is televised now.
Yeah, how good's that?
Yeah, Fox Sports televise every trial game now. So
yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, how good. Footy's back.